In the Hotelier Huddle today, I welcome Jasmine Xie. We spoke about her hotelier career, which started at the International College of Management, Sydney, where she earned her bachelor's degree and progressed to a reservations job, and her recent promotion to a reservations and distribution manager role at a high-volume, high-profile hotel. Jasmine shared her many valuable lessons that carry you far in a hotel career. Enjoy. So nice to see you, actually. It's nice to see you almost in person again. It's been a little while since I've seen you in real life. And my goodness, you have been a very busy hotelier, Jasmine Xie.
It has been very busy, hectic as always. All the hospitality workers will know for sure. There's never ending. It just comes and goes.
That's what makes the days fly by, hopefully. And listen, thank you so much for taking the time out to participate and join me in the Hotelier Huddle today, because I know all too well how flat out busy you are. And I want to get to your recent nomination as a rising star as well. Oh my God, I'm talking to a rising star on the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So for those who might not already know, I do like to run down, just not to read your CV at you because you already know it. But I like to cover, your career journey so far and your education, because it's pretty impressive. So you, earned your your bachelor's degree, hospitality administration management. Make sure I get that right, from ICMS. Were you at the Manly campus?
Yes, it was the Manly campus.
It's such a beautiful campus, isn't it? I mean, talk about a glamorous place to study. I mean, there's so many people in the world who would love to study on that campus. Yeah, well done you. And then I believe, was your first hotel job the Amora Hotel Jameson, Sydney? You were there 6 years, I believe, right?
Yes, I actually started it as a reservation sales agent. So it was part of my industry training requirement with my bachelor degree.
While you were still at school?
Correct. Okay. So it was actually part of the requirement for 9 months full-time working in a hotel as a requirement to complete my degree. So it was a very interesting and very, I would say, a milestone for my career, of course, to set my foot into the hospitality industry, especially when I was not prepared, when I was purely just studying for the degree, don't even know what the future looks like yet. And here I am.
Indeed. And I'm curious, was part of your bachelor's degree in hospitality management, was that required that you have a placement in a role like that? Or was that something that you went out and had to seek on your own back? Because it led you then to a promotion pretty quickly. So how did that come about?
So it was pretty funny because there's no such a requirement of what department or what role you should be working in.
Interesting.
It was just purely just hotel industry, because hospitality management could cover so many different departments, so many different areas. So it was very funny that when I first started to seek for a job or seek for an opportunity in the hotel, that I was looking for a front office job, because simply as front office is just such a common job that everyone knows about in hotel operations. So I was looking for a front office job. But eventually I kept up with a contact that I knew before who was also graduated years ago from ICMS. And
well done.
He happened to be the revenue director at the time of Amora. And we met and we catch up. And he's like, you know what? We need a res agent. How about you come and work for us? And that's how I got in.
Perfect. I love that. And then you were promoted to reservations manager, I believe, at Amora Hotel Jameson, Sydney. Is that right?
Yeah. So during the journey there, I was the reservation sales agent. Then I took over the team leader's role for the free independent reservation team.
Yes.
Then gradually promoted to group reservation supervisor. Then I ending up as a reservation manager there. Then afterwards, I moved to Parramatta area.
Right. And so that's when you moved to your current property, which is Park Royal Parramatta, and you started there as reservations manager. Have I got that right?
Yes, correct.
And I think that's where you and I met, because you came to one of my courses at Tourism Accommodation Australia. You came to the revenue course, and
Yes,
I
did.
remember thinking at the time, oh, she's a rock star. She's going places. She's going
Thank
places.
you. That's very sweet of you.
So you were recently promoted to reservations and distribution manager, which we'll get to in a minute because that's very interesting. And I think people will be very interested to hear about that. Excitingly, you were very recently nominated as a rising star at the 2025 HM Awards. Now, for those who may not know, that's the leading awards for hotel and accommodation industry in Australia, New Zealand, and the South Pacific. And that recognizes excellence in properties, people, departments, and even brands. And you, Jasmine, are one of their rising stars. Tell me, what does that feel like? And what did that mean to have that acknowledgement?
It's absolutely a pleasure. It's all the hard works and all the inputs that you have towards the industry, towards the hotel, towards the brand being seen, being recognized from different levels, from different areas. That feeling is amazing. It's definitely rewarding, and it just makes all the hard work so worth it.
Doesn't it just? Doesn't it just? And, it's not just something nice to put on a LinkedIn profile, which is powerful in and of itself, but it's that feeling and it's really strong motivation, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
And so you studied at ICMS, which is known for its stunning campus and a real hands-on approach. What's one thing you learned there that you still use in your role today?
I think there's definitely more than just one thing. There's a lot of courses being covered throughout the study of the degree, of course. It is a 3-year study.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from just black and white textbook theories, I think one important thing that I took away when I was graduated was the business mindset. It's not just about everything that you read, everything you have gone through in quizzes, assignment, exam. I like those. And of course, those are the fundamentals of getting you into progress a successful career. But at the same time, is the teaching of thinking about the business in your head rather than taking the degree as just a study. So I think that got me quite far, especially in year 2 when I have the reservation job, when I actually have myself in the industry starting to work, and by implementing those business mindset, that really changed a lot.
Of course. And, I think people outside the industry, may not appreciate what you just described then, which is so important. And, even if you think of a chef can read a lot of books and study a lot of manuals and even watch a YouTube video on how to julienne a carrot. But until you get just the right knife in your hand and you julienne a carrot lots of times, you don't actually know how to do it. And it's the same way with revenue and reservations and every other job in hotels. Until you're immersed in it and physically doing it, you just don't appreciate it, and you can't become a rising star like Jasmine.
Thank you.
And so you went from reservations agent at Amora Hotel Jameson to reservations and distribution manager with Park Royal in under a decade, which, let's face it, is pretty rapid, all things considered. So well done you. I'm curious, was there any particular moment when you realized that maybe reservations wasn't just a job, but could be an actual career path?
I think there's really not such a moment, to be honest. I think it comes from a lot of the small moments that builds up throughout the years, for sure. So talking about back to the time when I was a reservation sales agent starting in Amora as my very first hotel job, going into the office, primarily the responsibility is taking calls, answer all the inquiries, make sure you convert as many bookings as possible. But soon enough, I realized it was more than just taking the booking. It's all about collaborating with different departments, make sure all the requests, all the back end communications are happening, make sure how we come together to generate a smooth guest experience. Then later on, when I moved to group reservation, I see a bigger picture of how the group reservation generate to the hotel revenue, how it impacts the strategy of the whole hotel. When I move up to a reservation manager, you get to see how the overall strategic planning will impact the whole hotel, just not from the room side, but operationally. So simple example, it could be you selling a package that's with breakfast included, with parking included. It doesn't just impact the revenue side for rooms, but it brings a play role into different departments, how food and beverage department have the revenue generated, how our parking gets the revenue. And it also impact when they talk about group reservation, if we sell just 20 rooms in one day, it fluctuates the rates instantly. It fluctuates the inventory, the availability of the hotel rooms. And that all leads to a bigger picture, not just ruling the reservation department about selling the room, it's also about communicating cross-department to make sure a smooth operation throughout the whole hotel, to make sure that we have the strategy of selling the right room type to the right market at the right time, of course, to generate a bigger revenue. So it's all the little parts that link together, not just about get the room sold, and there's more behind it.
Oh, that's so true. That's absolutely so true. And, all of the most successful reservations, revenue, distribution managers do acknowledge exactly that you already have, and they actually operate in such a way that they're mindful of the fluctuation in price, but equally mindful of the fluctuation and impact on a day in the life of their colleagues. So if you sell a group package that has a certain package element that has to be delivered to 50 rooms today, that's going to fluctuate a day in the life of the porters and the room service folks who have to deliver that amenity.
Absolutely.
And so you're very mindful of the operational impact of a reservations decision in that way, aren't you?
And of course, if you think about it, making the revenue, it does come down to a cost perspective as well. So when you have a group business that's committed, it's going to happen, that's where different department heads will start looking at their rostering, how they manage the staffing level. So it all plays a small role, but when it comes to a bigger picture, everything is so important, and communication is definitely the key.
Well, that's right. And that leads me to a question I have for you about how your current role has added distribution to the title, which I love. And for listeners who might be a bit fuzzy about that, tell us more about how distribution differs from reservations, which you just started to allude to, and why is it beneficial for you to oversee both?
I guess it wasn't such a surprise to add distribution to my title. It's just naturally when I was working as a reservation manager, I have already been spending lots of time working with different online partners, making sure the rate plans, the strategies are feeding through correctly to the correct channel. It is more of a natural progression to have the distribution added to my title. However, by having that title, it actually adds more responsibility into how the brand and how the hotel will represent themselves online. So
yes,
it is a very close collaboration between the reservation operationally side and also how distribution plays such a big role in strategic management. When it comes to the connection between them, it just brings everything together. So you make sure you manage the operation side efficiently. In the meantime, you also make sure you have the right strategy in place, make sure the hotel is displacing itself correctly, accurately positioning itself correctly in the market against all the competitors. And once again, it comes down to the concept of selling the right room type to the right market at the right time. And that generates to the right revenue we want to have.
That's right. And through the right channel, which you just started to mention then, which, you mentioned then about, your collaboration and, the work with online partners. And I think our listeners might be sort of curious to know what that looks like without giving away any secrets, because that is a big time consuming part of the job, isn't it? And it isn't just sitting there clicking refresh on the booking.com extranet all day long, is it? It's collaboration with.
Yeah, we do.
Well, there's a bit of that too. But tell me more about, what that collaboration with your online partners looks like and feels like, because that's quite critical, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So all the online partners, of course, they all have a big input into the hotel distribution and how it has the return in investment, of course, all the marketing, all the investment they have putting to make sure the brand is out there, the platform is out there, and make sure it's user-friendly, it generates to the right target, whether it's using AI technology or data analysis. I'm sure there's much work involved behind. From a hotel perspective, to work with online partners is more than what the audience think that we just pushing out a room, pushing out a rate, and we just sit there and watch the bookings coming. There's more than that. There's absolutely more than that. So it's all about analyzing what has come through. Did it come through at the right rate that we want it to be? Is there a business demand that we haven't picked up on? Is there more for us to look into? It's about managing the live inventory, make sure the right packages are feeding through with the right supplement, generating the right revenue. So it's more than just sitting there watching the booking to come in. It's about making the real-time decision that's right for the hotel. And that goes along with the bigger picture of revenue planning and the goal of the hotel as well.
Gosh, it sure does. It sure does. You explained that so perfectly well. And you did mention everyone's favorite buzzword these days, AI, artificial intelligence, or assisted intelligence, maybe in some cases. If thinking about AI, chatbots, and automated booking flows, are you, at this point in your working career, are you excited or terrified about where reservations technology is heading? And be honest, there's no wrong answer.
To be honest, a little bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I am personally I am very open-minded, and I'm always excited to see new things, new learning, and that just excites me like naturally. So for me, I guess it's a bit of like mixing of both. It's very exciting to see how the technologies are growing so fast. Like we haven't had AI for like probably like no more than 2 years, I think, but it has already developed so much, which is very inspiring as well. I guess from another perspective of working in the hotel, in the industry, it engage us a little bit more to think more creatively. Especially on the human side. I think human side, the personalized connection and interaction is something AI, computer technology can ever replace. And working in hospitality, you know how that connection really matters when you meeting a guest, when you are talking to a real client. The difference between just talking to someone in an email that everyone emails everyone these days versus how you have a chat and coffee face to face. So I think that really impact the way people will actually communicate to each other, but it definitely brings more inspiration and creativity to help people will collaborate moving onwards as well.
Oh, that's exciting, Jasmine. And I mean, to me, that is very reassuring and exciting to me to hear that that is the perspective of someone in your role at this juncture, that AI is powerful and important, and so are the humans. So that is very exciting to me to hear that that's your perspective. And considering you've been promoted twice at Park Royal in only 3 years, I'm curious, what do you think may be next for you? Are we looking at a future director of revenue, director of commercial, general manager, or maybe you have other plans up your long-term sleeve?
I don't know yet. So, like I just mentioned, I'm very open-minded.
Perfect.
I actually don't know. I am very open-minded. Like I said before, when I was starting the hotel job, I didn't expect myself to be in reservation. I originally was searching for a front office job. So who knows where the future will lead me. But I think for me, most importantly is enjoying the present, absorbing as much as I can, my curiosity and my desire of learning new things, that's where it has taken me so far. And it just keeps me motivated in the industry and keep learning and absorbing everything I can. All the challenges will make me very excited, and I'm very motivated by that. So I guess wherever the journey takes me to, I'm up for it.
And I can tell you're exceptional at that, which will serve you very well. And so with that in mind, what advice would you have to give someone just starting out working in hotels or even reservations specifically, especially if they may just see it as a stepping stone rather than a destination?
So I'll say don't underestimate the experience. Enjoy what you're doing under the present, especially for me talking as an experienced hotelier now.
Yes.
When I started in hospitality, I did not expect I'll be in reservation. And later on, I did not expect I'll be a team leader. And then moving on, I didn't expect myself will look after group reservation. So it's all about taking the moment to appreciate and to absorb every new learning you can. All the learnings that you have absorbed will just build up your skill sets, whether you take the job in the hotel as a stepping stone, whether you move out of the industry to something else later on, those skill sets will just follow you, and those skill sets will carry you far wherever you go. And I think most importantly, and how different it is the hospitality industry, it's different to other industry. It's very dynamic, and you deal with different people, different clients. Within a hotel, you have so many different departments that you build so much on your communication skill. You build so much on problem-solving skill, because everything could happen, and you may need to make a very quick decision and turn around and make sure everything's working smoothly. So all those valuable lessons will carry you far, and let your work speak for you rather than you speaking for yourself. All those, ensure those will be seen, and just keep on all the hard works, focus on what you're doing. They will speak for you.
That's so true. That is such good advice. And, expect the unexpected is what I hear you say, Jasmine. And that's excellent advice. And, your work and your early career, I mean, you've only been at the hotelier game for 10 years, and your work indeed does speak for itself through your study and your promotions. And, you mentioned just then about making quick decisions and being agile and supporting your colleagues. and that's exactly what it's all about, I think, isn't it? And that's something else I think that will serve you very well.
Always keep that open mind, the curiosity of learning. That's very important, because if you don't have a motivation for yourself, you can't go far.
No, that's exactly right. And, I certainly never expected when I started out in my first hotel job at the age of 15 in the United States that I would end up in Sydney, Australia for a temporary assignment and still be here more than 20 years later. I definitely didn't expect I'd be on the other side of Earth. So to your point, Jasmine, the industry is good like that. It supports people who are supportive, and it rewards hard work and curiosity, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So one last question. We close each hotelier huddle with a final toast. If you were raising a glass to celebrate hoteliers everywhere, what would your toast be? There it is. I'll raise mine too.
I definitely have a glass ready. Well, I'll say to all the hoteliers in the world, to those long hours that we work, hard works that we have done, the complaints that we dealt with, the strong coffees that we take, and that comes down to the little moments. We'll just appreciate how all the hard works come together. May our love and passion for this industry never end.
Cheers to that. I love that. That's an excellent toast, Jasmine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just on that, with complaints, because let's face it, that's a part of our job every day as hoteliers, in reservations and housekeeping, as a porter, in every part of the job. Was there ever like a really messy, gritty guest complaint that you handled that, I don't know, maybe it was a really good lesson, or maybe it's still informs how you do your job today?
I guess it's also the different perspective of how the guests have.
Sure.
I had previously guests complain how the hotel's being full and cannot take their booking.
Oh dear, that's the worst. Oh dear.
They just simply don't understand the hotel is already booked. So it's hard to explain from a different perspective, especially they simply just want a room. Which I ended up turning around and say, we can offer a waitlist booking. And of course, if something becomes available and something gets cancelled, modified, frees up the availability, I'll make sure we give you the very first call to offer that. But as of the stage, I can't kick out someone and just accommodate you. I'm sorry.
I'm sure they wish you would.
I know.
I can't just get my 3D printer out and print you a new room to put you in, sir, even though I would love to do that for you.
You can take over my office and just sleep on the floor if you like.
You just mentioned a very magic word then, waitlist. Not enough reservations teams in hotels use the waitlist function. And that just made my heart sing, Jasmine, when you use the word waitlist. Is that something you use just for special events or ad hoc, or is it standard? Can you tell me more about that? Because that just made me very excited when you use the waitlist word.
Yeah, of course. So it is the standard, especially with the hotel being in Parramatta.
Sure.
We're so close to Olympic Park where a lot of events are happening. We also have Combine Stadium that hosts a lot of sporting events. So
and you'll have the Powerhouse Museum coming soon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
So much.
So we all the events demand there is sometimes it's hard that even people are calling so funding events. There are people that booking so much earlier than you. So the availability is no longer there. So it is the standard procedures that the team will offer a waitlist booking. So we have a waitlist that we can get in touch if anything happens, especially based on a flexible terms and conditions. People could change their plan last minute, could drop off, or you just don't know. So it's always good to have a list of who the potential clients will be, and we reach out and capture every revenue we can.
Well, that's right, because it's not only an excellent yield tool, an excellent conversion tool, an excellent revenue strategy tool, it's an excellent service, because as a reservation sales agent, it's a much nicer way to close an email or end a reservations transaction call with, may I offer a wait list as an alternative, instead of, sorry, we're fully booked, you missed out, snooze you lose. It's a nicer,
so we offer
better
choices.
Service.
Correct. As from the service perspective, is also to make sure that we are assisting, we are helping, as our job should be, to make sure that we are accommodating everything we can, make every effort to satisfy the guests.
I love that. I love that. I'm delighted to hear that the waitlist feature is alive and well in Jasmine's team. Thanks so much, Jasmine Xie, for joining the Hotelier Huddle today. I really appreciate your time because I know how flat out busy you are, especially with all the events coming to Parramatta.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon.